What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about a few different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about Scream 7, Ready or Not 2, Faces of Death, and we'll be talking about Jaws. Starting off here with Scream 7. So Scream 7, just circling back on a rumor I addressed in another lengthy video, but Scream 7 definitely will be featuring a chase scene, at least, with Sidney's daughter, Tatum. A few locals in the area that the film is shooting at gave me a similar description of what I can only assume was shot last week. Maybe they're shooting it still this week, although I heard they moved into like this interior location for shooting. Tatum is supposed to be running past several businesses. She stops at the coffee shop rumored to belong to Sidney, which is different from the previous description of her banging on business doors, which many of you say sounds like that's more similar to Helen Shivers from I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I can't blame you for that. But perhaps the banging on the doors, if it happens still, is later on during the chase scene. Because from what I was told, all that happened from what these people saw was her running down the block. She didn't bang on anything besides Sidney's alleged coffee shop. But multiple people in the area also claim that Sidney will be involved in this chase. Now, Sidney hasn't had a memorable chase scene since Scream 3, one could argue. So I'm intrigued to see what this looks like on screen next February. Although my gut feeling is that Kevin Williamson is just going for some type of Halloween H2O type of thing, where John Tate and his girlfriend Molly got chased by Michael Myers. Well, they ran, Michael walked as usual, and he ended up getting saved by his mother. I think that's what he's going for with Tatum. Somebody probably is with Tatum, doesn't make it to where Sidney's shop is located at. Sidney will open the door, letting her daughter in, and she'll come face to face with Ghostface. That's just how I see that playing out. Sidney probably herself won't be spending a lot of this movie running around. It would be nice to see Sidney Prescott in another memorable chase scene, but I'm just being quite honest. That's how I can see it playing out. Now let's talk about Ready or Not 2. So Ready or Not 2 has a new cast member, a very exciting cast member. Deadline reported a few days ago that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania actor Catherine Newton is getting in on the bloody fun and is joining the cast of Radio Silence's follow-up to its near 58 million global grossing 2019 cult Searchlight hit Ready or Not. The casting marks Newton's second collaboration with Radio Silence after last year's Universal movie Abigail. Newton joins returning star Samara Weaving in the movie, directed by Matt Benelli-Open and Tyler Gillette, who we know are Radio Silence. Now, I guess this means Abigail and Ready or Not aren't in the same world after all, despite some Easter eggs and other things that I could have sworn came from Radio Silence's mouth. But Catherine always kills it in the horror genre, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. It was cute how she was putting teasers out there for a while too. What's your favorite performance from Catherine Newton, and have you been following her journey in the horror genre since Paranormal Activity 4? I think that was her very first horror film, and if not, that was definitely a movie that put a spotlight on her, I would say. For everyone asking me about that rumored Melissa Barrera casting, about her apparently being in Ready or Not 2, the source of this tweet that you guys keep sending me is not trustworthy and has rebranded themselves a bunch of times due to past behaviors running them off the platform for a while, and then they return under a new name, and surprisingly they just have all of these followers. And conveniently, every time a new name pops up, I'm blocked. That's how I know it's the same person. I hope Melissa is in it, but I wouldn't take it from that source. Those of you familiar with them, you know there's an entire Reddit thread on them and why people do not fuck with them, but take from that what you will. Now, let's dive into talking about Faces of Death. So we got a small update on Faces of Death in a now deleted tweet. For starters, the star of the film, Dacre Montgomery, responded to a post from World of Real asking Legendary what's happening with the film. A film that is already rated and ready to be released, according to the director, who was on the At Large podcast and shared that it's ready to be released and hopefully it comes at some point. Now, the director doesn't have the power to drop a film, but this movie being stuck with no release in sight is a bit concerning. All signs pointed to this being a success with the horror community when it arrives, and yet our plates remain empty. We still have not yet been fed. The gist of the movie is that there's this guy who has watched that old movie from the 70s and decides to recreate the sequences in real life. That's the gist of it. I've heard it's very similar to Scream 4. Has some inspiration perhaps from Silence of the Lambs. A lot of different things were shared with me, and this sounds like it would be a hit. Apparently the film could also be similar to the movie Sydney Sweeney just did, Immaculate. Take from that what you will, but the director's comments that the movie is ready and hopefully will be released at some point is the small update that I wanted to share with you all, because I know there are so many of you out there who, for whatever reason, are looking forward to seeing this new iteration of Faces of Death, whether that be you're a big fan of Dacre Montgomery or you just like that original from the 70s. So hopefully that film will come out very soon. Again, it's a little bit perplexing that this didn't get released last year. I'm surprised it didn't come out. Doesn't seem like it's coming out this year either, but for all we know, they could be working on some sort of streaming deal to drop it on some platform somewhere. At best, it'd probably be on Apple, I would think. Doesn't Legendary have some sort of deal with Apple? I could be wrong. I'm just thinking about their Godzilla show that I know is exclusive to Apple Plus. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about here is going to be Jaws. Bloody Disgusting put this tweet out earlier this week about the 50th anniversary of Jaws. It says, this year's Jaws 50th anniversary is set to be a massive celebration, with the classic film swimming back into theaters August 29th through September 4th. All 4 films are coming to Peacock, and a 50th anniversary release is set for digital and disc. Expect tons of new products and more. Now, the only reason I'm talking about this is because if you are someone out there who loves Jaws like me, you recognize it as the GOAT of shark films, and you have never seen it in theaters, do yourself a favor, get whoever you can to go with you, go experience this movie in theaters. When I saw this movie in theaters, because I did it 3 times because it was that good, but the very first time I saw it in theaters, despite knowing everything front and back about the film, it heightened the experience to see it in theaters. Everything in the theater made Jaws better. Not only that, the fact that everybody in attendance had, of course, already seen the film led to some very crowd-pleasing moments where we engaged with certain scenes. At one moment when we were all watching, we started singing "Show Me the Way to Go Home" together. And then everybody in unison said that iconic line at the end of the film when the shark gets blown up. "Smile, you son of a..." And then, of course, shark gets blown up by Chief Brody. And then also when, what is his name? Quint is introduced. Everybody thought it'd be funny to make a loud scratching sound as his nails are coming down on that chalkboard. A very iconic scene, iconic monologue. You know, if you're a big fan of Jaws, just do yourself a favor. You never know if you'll get to experience something like that where the crowd is interacting with the movie because everybody has seen it, but everybody also wanted to come out and celebrate the film and just see it on the big screen. So let me know, are you guys planning to go see Jaws in theaters when it drops? Are you planning to get the 50th anniversary edition when it comes out on physical? What is your favorite moment from Jaws? Let me know all that down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe. Turn on post notification. You can never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links to all of my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course, to let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.